Alright gang, welcome back to our Pioneer Challenge on Alone in the World. You join me, it is now May, day 1. And we've got some herbiciding to do today. We also have all of the fields that I mentioned in the last episode all prepped and ready to be harvested. Now, there is something I want to try to accomplish today. We don't have enough money for it currently, but I think if we get rid of some trees and we sell a few of the things that we have, we might be able to get there. So, the root crop fields, both of them are ready to harvest, and this little tiny soybean field here they're all ready to harvest. So we've got to get those done today. We've also got to do a second application of fertilizer on this field and the other field in the last episode, and also spray the other field in the last episode that we did. So lots and lots to do today. I don't know how much of it will get accomplished in day 1. We'll probably have to do some of it in day 2, but that's all right. So I did some research, as I said I would do, off camera, between the last episode and this one, in regard to the digestate. I'm not finding a whole lot of anything with the exception of doing just solid fertilizer. So that's what we're going to do. We've done that a lot, but we're going to utilize a different production for it. Now, I don't think we're going to probably put that in this episode, but possibly the next one. We'll just have to see how things go. But regardless, I just wanted to let you know that I did find something. It just happens to be a very similar type of production that we've utilized before. It's not the same one. It's just a very similar, setup. And what I mean by similar is that we're basically doing the same thing, right? We're turning in the digestate into solid fertilizer, but it's something we definitely should be doing because we're going to be pumping up that digestate as we carry on here. It's only going to get, higher. So definitely something we should do. What else is everybody doing today? Yeah, hopefully you're doing well. I did pretty much, well, it's not 100%, but about 99% confirmation today. I'm doing this after work one day, but today, that I will be out of the country for work the week that FS22 comes out. So really sad, really disappointed in that, but I'll figure something out for you. Just hopefully you stick with me, I guess. That's what I'm gonna say. Hopefully you'll come back and watch my videos a couple days after FS22 comes out to see what I come up with. I'm really disappointed in it. I'm trying to figure out any other way that I can get out of it, or I can, bring PC with me to do some editing while I'm there, at night, because after work is done, I'll just be probably hanging out in the hotel room more than likely. Maybe do dinner or whatever with the people, but otherwise we're just hanging out in the hotel room, so I'm not gonna have a whole lot to do, right? So I just don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. So it is what it is. I'll probably be, I guess, I don't know what day, the actual day that FS22 comes out. I know the date, I guess, but I don't know the exact day now, just off the top of my head, because I'm not looking at a calendar or anything. I would assume it's like a Tuesday, but I guess I'll be 5 days behind, something like that, because I think we're going from Monday to Friday. We come back Friday, I think, so maybe Friday when I get back, if I'm lucky, but I doubt it. I bet I'm not going to be back Friday until late, because I suspect we're going to be doing something at least in the morning. Like I said, it's not too bad. I think it's like an 8-hour drive, 7.5, 8-hour drive, I think, somewhere around there. For me, so it's not too bad of a drive, and that's a very Midwestern thing to say, right? Oh, it's only 8 hours, it's only 12 hours, let's just drive it. But I mean, I don't know if I'll feel up to doing. I probably will, because I'll be excited about it, but at the same time, it may not be the quality that you would come to expect, I guess. So we'll see what we think and what we come up with. So what I'm planning to do is something that I have never done before with the root crops. So I've always utilized, let me get this flipped around and I'll try to show you what I'm talking about. I've always utilized, shrink that down a little bit even. I've always utilized this, because it stores them. I've never done this one. We're going to do this one. Now you might be asking, well, that doesn't look like it stores them. It does and it doesn't. So the way that works is it is basically you have to buy boxes, like vegetable boxes, and it loads up the vegetable boxes and then it unloads those. So that's what we're going to try. I've never done it. I wanted to try something different. I wanted to push myself a little bit, and that's clearly going to be something that does that. So we'll see. I'm excited about that. I mean, we've always done the one where we just store them, and you know, it is what it is. But just trying to get a little bit of space here. Bear with me for a minute. Here we go. Now we'll probably have to come back and touch some of this up. It's not a very easy area. Those trees are kind of in the way. I probably should get rid of them. Those are the only two left that I can get rid of, I think, on that hill. I kept them. I don't know why I decided to keep them. I just did, for whatever reason. But I'm thinking I might have made a mistake there and probably should have got rid of them. But hey, it is what it is. So this field's almost done with the herbicide, and then we just got to put some fertilizer down on this field and part of the other field as well. All of these fields, well, all these fields, this field and the last field, both these two fields, they're kind of a partial situation where part of it needs it and part of it doesn't, if that makes any sense, where, you know, there's a section that is freshly plowed and it doesn't need it, and then there's, you know, the other ones that we already had previously and they need it, so... That should just about do it. Perfect. All right, let's fold this up. Let's unload this. Let's grab the fertilizer, and we'll jump straight back into fertilizing these fields. So basically, what I was trying to show you here is, so this thing right here, I don't know if you can see it or not. You see these little flaps? They basically drop the crops, or the root crops, into the boxes. And so what you have to do is you have to buy, where are they at? Here they are. These vegetable pallet boxes. I think it only holds 4 at a time. So you buy 4 of them. Costs money. Obviously, it costs more money because you got to buy those boxes. But that way we can store all the root crops in a box. We don't have to worry about having any kind of, you know, silo of any sort for the root crops. And we can just keep those undercover somewhere. In this barn, probably. Right? And just take them out whenever we need them. Now, granted, we're probably, you know, going to have a lot more root crop than we need, right? So we'll probably have to find some kind of production to utilize for those root crops, because we're not going to need that much for both the pigs and Jester, right? So they only need like 5% in each of them, so that's not going to be that much. Considering how big those are, we're going to get a lot out of it, so... I have been talking to you, and it has not been recording. Well, that sucks. I don't know where I last left off. I'm going to have to look for that. In any case, we got this field fertilized, that field over there, and that field fertilized. I don't know where I left off at. I don't know where you saw and what you didn't see. I apologize. We're getting this field going here. I'm just going to throw it on a worker. We're going to have the worker do all of that. So... we want to buy, I don't know if you saw this or not either, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. What's out here? Nothing, Rachel. Nothing major. We want to buy this. This harvester I've never utilized before for the root crops. What it basically does is it drops the root of that little flaps. It drops them into pallets, basically, and you store them that way. Instead of what we normally do, which we just, you know, fill this up until it's full and then we unload it into a trailer. This goes a little bit differently, right? Puts them into pallets and stores those. And what you do is you buy these, where are they at? Here they are, the vegetable pallets. You fill those up with it, and then there you go. It stores your root crops for you. But to get there, as you saw, I'm sure, it's $181,000. We don't have $181,000 right now. So how are we going to get there? Well, there are a couple of ways. The first way is we've got a ton of flour in here. So much so that it has stopped production. We're going to turn the flour on to selling. Now, we still have some pallets that are sitting out there, and that's fine. They can just stay there for now. We are going to sell the 29,999 liters of flour. Will it get us to $180,000? No. No, it will not. But it'll be a good chunk of money coming in. Let me find the flour here, and I'll show you. So, 1,028, 1,019, depending on which one it sells it at, I guess. Pretty good money, right? So, we've got a ton in there. 29,000 liters, I think is what we said. Yeah, almost 30,000 liters. So, that's going to give us a good amount of money. So, let's buy that. Let's jump on Jester here. If it'll let me get on. There we go. So, we'll do a quick ride around on Jester here. I'll just do a little jump cut. I'm not going to... I've showed me riding on Jester many times, so we'll just do a jump cut here real quick. We'll get Jester all sorted out, taken care of. We'll brush him off, everything else. And when we get back, we'll see where we're at as far as our money goes once 10 o'clock hits. Because 10 o'clock hits, all that flour should sell. We'll see how many trees really we have to get rid of. I did get rid of a few more trees off camera, but not many. Really not. About 5 or 6, I think. So, we got a lot more trees we got to get rid of if we're going to get that $180,000. Alright, while we're waiting, let's try to knock down a few trees here. Even though I just talked about not doing a whole lot of tree work, because Silver Run's going to be certain soon. About a minute here, we'll see what we get. Hopefully it's a decent amount from all of that. I did turn it on, right? Make sure I just put it on selling before I say that. Yeah, I did. Good. Should be a decent amount we get out of this. Yeah, up to 133,000. Still not quite enough, but we're still a lot closer than we were. 50 grand or so, and we'll be there, right? Now, obviously, I could always, you know, get a different harvester and then upgrade to that one later on, but I don't know, I kind of just want to pay for it outright, you know what I mean? So the worker's still going on the soybeans there. It is May. There's not really a whole lot in May that's best to sell, so I don't necessarily think we will sell any of the crops. I don't think. We've got a decent amount of stuff in there, right? But I don't think anything's really worth selling in May. No, certainly not. I mean, wheat would probably be the only thing, but I mean, there's no reason to get rid of the wheat. You might as well save it for the flour, right? So it's a tree day today for a while, at least for a little while. Now I could mow some grass. We haven't mowed grass in a while. We might do that either today or the next episode. We'll have to make a decision on that, but we could use some silage for sure. We could put some of it in BGA. That would make us some money. We also have the digestate, like I talked about. If we look at the map here, or the menu here, I guess I should say. You can see 74,000 liters of digestate storing in there, so it's a good amount. It would make us a lot of money, probably. But the price that we're going to utilize, would we get that back with that amount? Probably not. It's probably going to take a little bit more than that to get all that back, so it doesn't really make sense as far as the grand scheme of things in regard to trying to get to that $180,000. So I guess what it comes down to here, gang, is I'm just going to have to flip off camera here for a little bit and get a ton of these trees down. We're not going to make a whole lot of money right now because obviously it's still set on the, you know, being the winter months being the best time to sell the wood chips. We're almost to June. Right after this, we're in June, and that's where we will be staying for the foreseeable future. We'll be just hanging around in June because that's the month we're going to keep it on. I should have probably, I think I mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. I should have probably just kept it on July or whatever it was, August, whatever it was that we started. I should have just kept it on that month instead of waiting to come all the way back around, but it is what it is. So all those prices are going to kind of fluctuate and change here again when we get to June. So let me go off camera. Let me knock down a ton of these trees, and we'll see what we get to. Hopefully we don't have to cut down too many. The wood chips are really bad right now as far as price goes. So, well, you never know. We might end up taking off this whole hillside here. I think wood chips right now are almost as bad as they can get. Yeah, almost. So, I mean, 400 versus 900 is almost 1,000. That's a huge decrease in the amount you make from these. So, the only other thing to do is put some more in the firewood, but that takes a long time to chew through. I think we just ran out. I think just now of the wood that was in there for the firewood. I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, we're out. So. We can get some of that down as well, I guess, but it's really not going to make us any money for a little while, because that's a slow processing production. Let's knock some of these out here, gang. I'll be back with you here in a minute. Alright, I may have went on a little bit of a tree chopping bonanza here. We've got a lot of trees chopped down. There's still a lot to go. We are at 211,000, so we do have enough. So for now, I'm just going to leave all of those there temporarily. I'm going to go put this back over here. And we're going to go buy our vegetable harvester, gang. The worker should mostly done, I think. 181, put Michelin's on. You know I like my Michelin's. Alright, so we're going to give it a shot. Like I said, I've never utilized this before. I think I know what I'm doing, but I could be completely wrong with everything I told you earlier on in the episode. So, let's get this back down there. Let's go pick it up. Let's quick save here. Probably should have saved before I bought that, just to be safe, but I think we can figure it out. So we've got a little tiny bit of sections here and there to clean up here on this field, but otherwise this field's done. We are not going to be putting anything back in this field for now. We're going to wait until that field's ready to harvest and then combine these two. So we won't be putting anything in there at current. And we also need to buy, before I forget, we got to buy some pallets here. I think I'll just buy 4. I think 4 is the max it can hold at one time. We might have to come back down and get more, honestly, but we'll buy 4 for now. And let's just see how this goes. I'm hoping everything I told you is exactly how it works and that I don't have any major issues here, but we'll find out. Alright, we got it down here. I already ran into the boxes, so that was a good start. So I assume I just need to unfold this thing. Okay, how do I get... I don't think that's exactly right. Hold on a second. Let me break your immersion for a minute. Oh, you can just buy boxes from here. Oh. Well, it's probably more expensive. Well, I wish I would have known that. I could have just bought them. But that's good to know for the future, because we've got so many root crops there, we can just go ahead and buy them outright. I think I have it on the loading, so I guess I just drive up to it, kind of like a bale, I would assume. Yeah, just drive up to it like a bale and it loads them up there. Alright, gang, my camera work is all over the place here. Trying to figure out the best way to go about this. I really don't know. Oh, so you can do them back to back really quickly if you wanted to. Okay, cool. Let's get this last guy. And then I guess I lift the platform back up. Yeah. Here, if we pull out of here, if we get out of the tractor, I should say, you can see. It's going to basically come on these conveyor belts here, hit this conveyor belt here, hit the flap, and fall down in there on 2 boxes. And I guess I'm assuming it moves the boxes backwards 1. Yeah, that would make the most sense. And then it hits the other 2 boxes. So, there you go. We learned something new today. We can quit. We don't have to do anything else for the rest of the day. So, let me turn that back off for now. I'm probably going to have to turn it back on when I get up here. But let's get back up to the fields here, and let's get this thing started on doing the root crops. We're going to do a good portion of it ourselves, and then probably have a worker do a good portion after that, but let's get up here. Alright, we're back. So let's see if we can get this thing all sorted out. Let's see. Lower top lifting harvester. Yeah. Turn it on. And let's see how this works here, gang. Okay, we're lifting them up just like you would normally. They're going in there, and they're falling into the boxes just like I said they would. Awesome. Now, I don't know how fast this goes. I might have to turn on auto buying for this, even for the workers, right? Unless I do it myself. Which, obviously, I'm going to do a good chunk of it myself because I want to. But I would suspect that the worker won't just buy when they get boxes full. They won't just buy them, right? I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I wouldn't think so. Now, we also probably have to figure out something to do with these boxes. I probably can't pick these boxes up by hand. I don't see any reason why I'd be able to. So that means we've got to get the other Massey Ferguson over here to pick them up, and I don't even know. I'm hoping it'll be able to pick these up. It had issues with just regular bags, so I don't know. This may not be the... we might have to, you know, fit some kind of skid steer or something else, right? That tree's definitely not going to work. This tree is going to be in the way. We'll figure it out. The good thing is that they're all ready to harvest now, so I can just drive over top of them. It's not a big deal. I can just make any line I want to make. It's no big deal. But I want to see what happens when it gets full. There it goes. Now it flips it to the other side. Yep. Gotcha. That's pretty cool, though, right? It's not really in a good spot here. I was trying to get a better angle here for it to try to take a screen capture of it when I start working on the thumbnail. I can have something to go off of here. It's not really the best angle for this. I'll try to get a different angle, something like that. I can see it a little bit better. The kind of the speedometer's kind of in the way, and I don't have that ability to turn it off on console, so. And there, look, it moved a box back. We missed that, but it did move a box back. You can see it. So that's exactly how it works. Exactly what I said. That's cool. I really like this. This is awesome. I like this much better than the other harvester we were utilizing. Now, granted, that one is probably a faster process because, you know, you just dump it into a trailer whenever it's full. But having these in boxes is kind of cool. I like this. So I kind of want to continue the harvest here, and I want to get these boxes full, and I want to see how this is all going to work. I kind of want to put it on a worker then and see if the worker will buy the boxes and unload them automatically, or how this all has to work with the unloading portion of it at a minimum. I got to figure that out. So, a short little time lapse here, but let's carry on. Let's get this thing full, and then we'll figure it out. Okay, it goes on no box to fill. So if I put this on a worker, what happens? All boxes are full. They just stop when all boxes are full. Okay. So you have to come over here and unload them. That's fine. I really don't have a problem with that at all. It's just the same thing as if I was bringing a trailer over here. It's not a big deal. I just drive it out of here and I unload the boxes, right? You can just send them wherever you want, really. I have to come pick them up. Now, let's make sure that I'm not incorrect in my statement. Yeah, to not pick it up. That's kind of what I expected. So, let's lift the platform. Let's buy new boxes. And they just randomly spawn there. Awesome. Well, that's actually pretty simple, honestly, gang. That's more simple than I was expecting it to be. But we do have to find something to pick those up, though, right? We can't pick them up by hand, so I'm going to try the Massey Ferguson. I really think it's going to have issues picking them up, but we'll attempt it. And if it can pick them up fine, then we're golden. We have nothing to worry about. Let's throw that on a worker for now. Let's go get the Massey Ferguson, and let's go see what happens here. I probably need a weight of some sort, so I might pick up, our makeshift weight we've been utilizing, right? I don't see any way that we can pick this up without utilizing that makeshift weight. I still didn't put the track in here. I'm sorry, gang. I've been so busy. I apologize. I will do it, I promise. I said it last episode. I didn't do it. I will do it. We're going to do it this episode. Guarantee it. We're going to do it during the episode. Alright, here we go. Moment of truth. I've got our makeshift weight on the back. Just the drill for the root crops. Let's see if we can pick 2 of them up at a time. Even if we can pick 1, I'm actually fine with that. I just have to make sure I drop these off in a location that it's not going to harm anything. Okay, maybe not. Oh boy. Yeah, 2 ain't going to happen. 2 ain't gonna happen. 1's gonna be difficult as it is. 2 is not gonna happen. Okay, this thing is... Whoa. It is glitching out big time on me. Let's just take this somewhere quickly. Now, let's see if it'll accept it in the pigs or not. It says only 99% in here. That's weird. Shouldn't it be 100%? It's really weird. Anyway. Alright. Let's see. Moment of truth. Do the pigs accept parsnip as a root crop? They do. How about that? I just sold the products? How did I get $105,000 and I'm back down to $29,699? What? What? I don't know. That's weird. Isn't that weird? He just gave me a ton of money for it, but there's nothing reflecting on my money up top. Perhaps somebody else knows the answer to that is much smarter than me and has played the game for what it's worth on some of the other items that I haven't done, like this, for example. That's weird. Let me know down below in the comments if you've run into that before and if that is supposed to happen, if that's a weird issue, weird glitch or something. Let me know. I'll tell you what, it sure doesn't like these boxes. So, as much as this is actually kind of working, I don't think it's going to be our go-to. I think we're going to have to get something else. Now, one thing I haven't looked at yet today... Well, we did look at it briefly, I guess. I'm sorry. We did. I don't know if that was actually on camera or not, though, because remember earlier on the episode I said that there was a portion, it was actually a good chunk, that I was talking to you about all kinds of random stuff that I don't even remember what I was saying, and it wasn't recorded. So... what are you gonna do? At least we now know that these will be accepted for the pigs, and that helps out tremendously. That's kind of what you expected there, because he didn't have that much room for food. So we've got more than 5% root crops for the pigs, so they're fine there. Yeah, everybody's good now. Everybody's good. Once that food continues to get chewed through, the root crops will start to speed up a little bit for Jester here, and he'll be good. Good. Well, I mean, now we know, right? We're going to have to get something else, though, to move those around. This is not going to be sustainable by any means. This, it was already glitching, having issues because of the size. I'm sure that's what the reason was. So we're going to buy something else. Skid steer, wheel rotor, something. I honestly, I would love to have a wheel loader or a telehandler. We haven't really utilized a telehandler on the channel yet. I've utilized them before, but not on the channel. We've done wheel loaders and skid steers more than anything. So a telehandler would be nice. If we can get one of those, if we can buy one of those today, that would be good too. I'm just going to leave that there for right now. That's not harming anything. So the telehandler, I don't really want this one. I actually don't like this one at all. I want one of these. There is one. It's one of these. It's the Leaper? I don't know. This is the one I want. 73 grand. So we're quite a ways away. We might not end up getting that today, but you know, it's there. So let's hook up the Massey Ferguson to the drill here. Not the drill. What am I saying? The plow. Okay, you're not going to hook up to the drill. Whatever. And what we're going to do is, without trying to ruin this field, we're going to try to slightly expand the field we just harvested. Well, we didn't harvest. The worker harvested. We're going to try to expand that, and then once we have that sorted out, we're just going to put a worker on this for plowing, and hopefully he goes the correct way. As long as we set it up the proper way, he shouldn't have any issues. And then just plow that whole field up. That's one reason we don't have to put down any herbicide that way. We can just have a worker do it. Why not? Put that there. Getting the harvester here. Let's clean up the rest of these little bits that were missed. So it's not going to be a huge amount that we're going to be able to do right now, but if we get a little bit of it going, I mean, I'm going to be pretty happy with it. We're up to 37,000 now. I think it's because I still had some wood in there that was not, didn't get all the way through, and it was probably a little bit of maybe some flour as well, since we have that on selling now. Although I probably should turn that off now. I don't think we really need it on anymore now that we made the money we really need for now. I'm going to do that really quick before I forget, because I will forget. Storing, perfect. Alright, so I'm going to move this out of the way. Now we need to get this unloaded, put into the silo, because we're going to save it till it's best time to sell the soybeans. That, or we find another, you know, utilization for the soybeans. That's also an option. And what I plan on doing now, after we get that telehandler, that's the next objective. Once we get the telehandler, the next objective is just to save the money, like I mentioned before, and get our second plot of land, and then start getting the second mill set up. That's our next objectives. Now that we got, you know, this sorted out, we've got the harvester for this, and I'm really happy with it. I love that harvester. It's great. That's our next main objective here. I don't want to get too close, like I said, just enough. There's going to be, it's going to be kind of a weird shape here for a minute, and that's, you know, it is what it is, because the field over here I made is not, that's not a perfect line, neither is this one, so that's part of the problem. But once these get connected, we should be able to make them a little bit better, hopefully. I think I got a little bit too close on that one, but That's okay. A little bit too far there, but that's okay. Okay, we've got it set now. Turned off create fields, so now it's just a matter of going back down this way. Once we get to the end here, we'll put in a worker, and if the worker goes the correct way, which I suspect they will at this point, then we don't have to worry about it anymore. Alright, moment of truth here. Put them on a worker. Let's see what the worker does here. Yes, they're doing exactly what we want them to do. Good. Alright, so... this is going to be a little bit, I think, too big for... actually, we're going to use the ignore me for a second. We're not going to use this tractor. We're going to utilize the grape tractor. We haven't used the grape tractor in a while. And this one would be a little bit way too small for it, really. This one's probably a little small for it too, but the power's not. Alright. So we're going to unload the harvester now. And probably... whoa. This thing, it does not like it at all. It doesn't like it at all. More than likely, the next field that we end up drilling, and it probably will be maybe those root crop fields. I don't think we need to have a root crop field again for a little while. So probably those root crop fields. We're probably going to get a planter and put sunflowers in, or corn or something. Because we're going to need that for the pigs, really, more than anything, right? The pigs are fine now as they are, for the most part, but they really need sunflowers and other things if we want to try to utilize some of these productions to make pig food, right? We need some of the other items that would be required on a typical basis. I'm going to have to move that. I put that in the worst spot possible. Oh boy. Does not like this thing. We're going to call that good enough for now. I know it's kind of, the yard and everything's kind of a mess right now. I will clean it up, I promise. I'll clean it up. But for now, we only have these two tractors. Well, 3 tractors, I guess, counting this one. We have 4, really. Get it together, see? We only have 2 decent-sized tractors that are useful for other things on the farm, right? This one should only be utilized for grapes. And the small one, really, I don't even know why we still have it. I talked about at the beginning, just keeping it because it's not really worth to get rid of, but... Alright, while that is unloading, I believe the worker over here is full. Well, that's not even a worker, he just ends. Whenever he's full, he just ends. Okay, well... knowing this, I think I'm going to start putting these elsewhere. I can just unload these elsewhere. It does mean it's going to take us longer, right? I need to find something for these. I don't know where I want to put them. I mean, I can just set them here kind of in the middle, but And they're kind of in the way a little bit. I guess for now I will have to do that, and then maybe we figure out somewhere better to put them. But I guess for now I'll just kind of set them here. We need to unload, just push up. I'm so used to hitting Y to unload, it's just push up on the D-pad. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to get some of this other stuff cleaned up here on this field a little bit. I think I'm going to do a good portion of this harvest myself. Mostly because I want to. And secondly, because we don't really have a whole lot else to do besides this harvest today. Everything else is pretty much good. I don't think anything else needs anything. I mean, we can look, but I'm pretty sure we're just kind of waiting on things to be ready to harvest at this point. Yeah, I mean, we're doing that field, which is great, but we're not putting anything in there, right? So, and those fields we just worked on today, and they were just drilled last episode, so I should be fine to drive over them, so I can do this little motion here I'm getting ready to do. And it shouldn't cause any issues. Where I kind of drive across the road here. Or across the way, across the field. I just hit the egg pallet there. That's probably not what I wanted. I don't know if it'll actually put anything on there now that I hit the egg pallet or not, but well, I guess we'll find out, right? So let's get this back going here again. I will put a bit of a time lapse in here. We'll get the worker going back on this, and we'll get to harvesting the rest of that field over there. And hopefully we get the parsnip done today. And if we can start on the carrots, I'll be pretty happy. All right, so we're going to have the worker continuing on their way there. It's going to take a while. We're not going to likely get all of this done in today's episode. There's just no way. Maybe we get done this field, maybe, but there's no way we'll get the carrot field done. The carrot field is truly ginormous. I mean, if you look at it, that is it's a huge carrot field. So there's no way we'll get that one done. But we have a chance for this one, I guess. But we'll continue on there, letting them do their thing for a little bit. What I want to do now is I want to do a little bit of the cleanup work that I said I was going to do between the last episode and this episode, and I think I even said it before that I was going to do it between the previous 2 episodes, and I didn't do it. So let's try to clean this up a little bit. Now, I'm not going to do a perfect job here by any means. I'm just going to try to make some track, or a track rather, coming up to this for now, until we kind of decide about the rest of this area. There's probably going to be some other things we put down here. Probably today, actually. A little bit of a spoiler, I guess, but probably today. Something like this. That'll work. Perfect. Yep. We're going to call that good enough. Now, what I had thought about doing here, gang, I want to put down a greenhouse. We have yet to do that. We haven't utilized a greenhouse the entire series so far. We're going to. Now, what is off limits on this are these type of greenhouses here. These open air greenhouses. These are way OP, so those are not allowed. But other ones are. So I want to try to put something else down. Now, we just recently, if you haven't watched it, I recommend you go check it out. We recently started working on a 100 horsepower challenge, and a bit of a spoiler here, so I apologize, but we're going to utilize these pepper, onion, and cucumber. Well, we're going to utilize at least one of those, so I'm not going to utilize those here, even though I'd like to. We're not going to utilize them here. Peppers and onions are my favorite vegetable by far. I love them. Absolutely love them. So there's this guy. I don't think I want that, though. I don't really want... I want it to be, reasonable. I want something that, I could do sunflowers in this if I wanted to. I could do potatoes in this if I wanted to, right? I could do some of this stuff if I wanted to, but I don't want it to be over the top, if that makes any sense. And I don't know if it does or not, but... maybe we just go with, one of the standard ones. But I kind of want something different than that, I mean, I guess we could go to the coffee ones. We haven't done coffee beans in a bit. We did them for a brief period of time. We didn't do anything with them. Sorry, gang, I hit the microphone. We didn't do anything with them in the Frugal Millionaire Challenge. We ended up just getting rid of them altogether. We had this thing. I think we're going to go with one of these. I think one of these is the answer here. I just don't want to be overboard, so I'm going to probably get a small one. Well, I guess one of these medium-sized ones first, because if it's OP, it's way overpowered. I'm going to get rid of it. We're not keeping it if it is overpowered. I don't want to keep it. Hold on. Now, my other idea that I had, and I'm going to bring it up now, and we'll see what happens. Maybe we keep it, maybe we don't, I don't know. Is where all the trees are being taken down, where we're getting rid of all these trees, right? We're doing a lot of that. We're doing a lot of getting rid of trees and knocking them out of the way. I think I'm going to stick it right here, gang. Perfect. I like it. We can just run a few of them down this way. I'm pretty happy with that. And we could run some back here, too, if we wanted to. But my idea for this up here, it's not going to be anytime soon, but in the future, I want to start putting some generators up here. And what I mean by that is kind of windmills, more than likely. Multiple versions of windmills just up here on the hill. I think it makes the most sense anyway. It's going to hit the most air. but they're very expensive, right? So that's going to have to be later on in the series, but that's kind of where I was going with it. I'd like to see kind of a small windmill farm on this hill out here. I don't know if it'll ever come to fruition or not, but that's kind of where my brain's at and where I'm going with it. So we'll see. So we can put this away, and we can go get the water tank here, the truck, and unload some water into our greenhouse there, and we can turn the greenhouse on. Now, I thought I had Road Jester enough today. I have not. So we need to ride him around for a brief period again, then brush him off, and then he'll be good. And other than that, man, that's really all we got to do today. I've got those trees up in the ground that I chopped that I still need to pull over there, which I can do. Probably get a few trees and put them in the production for firewood too, since that one is no longer running. We need to probably get that going. But other than that, we really don't have a whole lot else to do today in May. And we don't have a whole lot to do in May Day 2, if I'm honest with you. It's really just going to be more root crop stuff, which is fine. We really haven't done a whole lot of root crop stuff at all. We haven't done any on this series, but in general, we've only done it for a brief period. So, maybe between now and the next episode, I mean, if this field isn't finished harvesting by then, we'll get it harvested, and then we can drill this field at least, right? But I think that's really what we're going to be doing. It's just tree work and that, and maybe mowing some grass. We haven't done that in a while. I mentioned that earlier. We can absolutely do that. We got plenty of grass all around. It's not really any rhyme or reason grass. It's not like it's a squared off field of grass that we can do, but we've got grass everywhere, so that's not really a problem. Alright, while that's unloading, let's jump in here. Let's turn something on. And like I said, if it's way too much, we'll get rid of it. I don't want it to be, I don't want to go overboard, I guess is what I'm trying to say. We're going to get potatoes and beets this way. This is a way that I could utilize. I mean, it's going to be a smaller amount because we're just doing the water. I'm not going to do the seed line manure. I'm not going to do all that other stuff because that probably would be way overboard. But this is a way we could utilize not putting a planter in for some of these items we need for the pigs and everything else. I think that's what we're going to do, gang. I think we're going to bypass the rest of that. Because really, right, for the pigs, what we need, they need canola, sunflower, soybeans, potatoes, sorghum, sugar beets, blah, 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 all that stuff, right? But for the production we want to put down, which is now I'm going to probably do that, I think we're just going to utilize this. So, oh, it took all the water. Okay. Let me go put down the food, well, the animal production that I want to utilize for the pigs. Let me go put this down. Let me make sure I have everything set up properly, make sure everything's going as I planned here. If it is, we've got one of the bonus objectives, or the extra objectives, the side objectives, whatever you want to call them. We've got one of those done, which is good, because 3 to 5 was the goal. I said I wanted to do all 5, and we haven't done one yet. So if we can do that, and we get one done right now, I'm pretty happy. Alright, gang, it's going to work. It's going to work. I'm very, very excited about this. I was hoping it was going to, but I didn't think we were going to be able to get it done today, but it ends up working out. So, it's just these 4 silos here, just kind of randomly placed here. I would have liked to have been able to put them a little bit closer to this, but I couldn't for whatever reason, so, it is fine. It's what it is. We'll fix this track a little bit, where we'll bring it out a little bit more. We'll just bring this whole area out a little bit further. But this is it. Now, what this basically allows us to do is we can turn corn, sorghum, or potatoes into pig food. Now, obviously, it takes more than just corn, sorghum, or potatoes, as you can see, but what it does mean is we can put potatoes on, or we can put, whatever we want to put on, we can do so, and then add those other items in there, and it's going to put out pig food for us, which pig food is going to give us everything we really need anyway, right? So, that's what we're going to do. Now, I know that kind of, puts our little root crops to on the offset a little bit, but Jester will still need some root crops, right? Not a ton, but he will still need some, so not that concerned about it. Really, I'm not. So that's what we're going to go with. So we've got one objective done now, and we're going to get it going immediately. So let's take this and kind of come around like this now. And same thing here, kind of come around like this. It's not the most perfect thing you've ever seen, but it'll work. I don't know how much of this is actually going to let me paint. But I kind of want to get rid of that gravel. I want it to kind of look like mostly what we're doing. The gravel in here makes sense, I think, but out here, I don't think there should be a whole lot of gravel. Maybe a little bit, but good enough. And I'm just going to expand this out just a little bit more as well. Something like that. Again, we're not looking for perfection here. We want it to look kind of like things are overgrowing a little bit because we're on alone on an island by ourselves, right? So, all right, that'll work. Perfect. So, if we go back and we jump to our production here. I guess I can't jump to the greenhouse, but anyway. We might have to put a few of these greenhouses down to really accomplish what I'm trying to do here, but even if it's you know, slower than I expect it to be, I mean, we're fine with it. We're perfectly fine with this. Do we want the root crops, I think? Yeah, that's what we want. So we'll turn on the root crop, and then we want to distribute. Really, we want to distribute all of this. I'm just going to turn all of it on distributing for now. Just in case we accidentally turn on something else. I wonder if I can turn on more than one. Some productions allow you to do that. It does allow you to do more than one. It means it's going to chew through the water so quick, though. It's going to chew through that water. But I guess I'm not that concerned about it. You know what I mean? Let's just keep it at the root crop for now. So we can it'll just chew through that. And, yeah, we're... We're on our way to making pig food now, so that's really good. We accomplished a lot. I was expecting this episode to not have as much bulk stuff as it ends up as it has ended up having. So. Now, I know I can go down to the lake and probably get it for free. I really didn't get a confirmation on if this is partially cheating going down to the lake or not, if I have to utilize this and pay for it. So, we're just going to kind of do a little bit of both most of the time, right? When I get down to around $9,000 here, I'm going to stop it, and then we'll go pick up the rest out of the lake. Man, I stopped it exactly on the money. I couldn't do that again if I tried, gang. The worker's full here. Let me go unload the worker here so I can get the worker going back on this once more. Now, what I should probably try, maybe I will after this one. I should probably see if these can even go into our pioneer set. Oh, I don't expect that they would be able to, but I should probably look. They're going to kind of get a little bit too much here soon, I think. I'm probably going to have to figure out something else for these boxes. There's a lot of boxes here. Soon, I think that tree's going to come into play. We might end up having to just get rid of the tree. I wanted to keep it. I wanted to kind of build something out here, but I don't know for sure if it's going to actually play out to fruition like I want it to or not. Alright, worker's going good. Let's get into the water tank. There it is. There it is. What do you mean he stopped unexpectedly? Weird. Okay. Somehow got off track. I don't know how he got off track, but he somehow got off track. Alright. she can keep on going on. Let's head down to the lake here, and let's see if we can get this greenhouse filled to the max, huh? Alright, we're heading back here. Let's unload this, and then we're going to decide which one of the, well, we know, I guess. Well, not really. There's two choices between, there's technically three. Two of them need potatoes, one needs sugar beets for that production for the pig food, right? So we need to make our decision on what we're going to take over there and drop off that we actually have in storage to help feed that. So we've got that. Which one do we want? Well, that one's corn. We don't have any corn, so it has to be one of these two. Wheat, sorghum, soybeans, wheat, canola, and potatoes and sorghum. 450 sorghum. The potatoes one costs a lot more potatoes and not a whole lot of anything else. I'm kind of leaning towards that one, if I'm honest with you. I mean, until we get a bunch of excess, you know, crops growing, harvested and in there, because we put a lot of it into the flour, right? So until we get a bunch of excess, I'm kind of leaning towards this one. It takes a little bit less of everything else. So let's do the potatoes one for now. And where is... It must be full. It is. Perfect. I'm just going to leave. I'm going to leave the water tank up here for now, because Jester doesn't need that much water. Not that often, at least. There it is. Of course, it's the very last one I go to. So let's go drop this off. We're going to get the trailer, and we'll start taking some of that crop over to put into our new production over there. I really like it. I wish it was closer to the building. Like I said, I wish I could put it closer to that building, but I do really like where it's at. I think it looks good there. I think it makes sense there, too. Alright, so they need sorghum, wheat, and soybeans. So let's put some wheat in here. I'm not going to take it all. Actually, I think I'm going to take all of it. Well, all of that can fit in here. Because that still leaves 9,000 wheat. That's plenty. We also have the barley and the oat. So there's plenty there. We'll probably come back and get the sorghum, too. Yeah, we'll take all the sorghum as well, we'll leave the rest in there, and we'll take all the soybeans. So once we get the potatoes going in there, we should get a good chunk. Now, obviously, at one point, we're going to have to probably flip it, because we're going to have, I would assume, at least, it should be, the sugar beets are going to be coming over here as well, I would assume. Yeah, there's 9 liters of sugar beets in there already. So, yeah. So, eventually, we'll have to flip it over, right? Because eventually, there's going to be so much sugar beets in there that it's not going to be able to accept anymore. As a matter of fact, why don't I just send over... Why don't I just sell those? Just sell the sugar beets. There's no reason to send them over there right now, right? Yeah, let's just sell them for right now. And then I already have it on distributing, so it'll start sending the food over to the pigs whenever they're required, right? So we shouldn't necessarily have to worry about the pigs too much as long as we keep that relatively full. That to me means we need to be putting in a lot more wheat, sorghum, and soybeans. Which is what we're doing, right? I think over there is soybeans. I think that big, massive field is all soybeans. That's right, we put in, right? Yep, huge. So, it's a no-brainer. This is good. This has turned into a very, very, very productive episode here. Now, we're going to find something to do with all these root crops now, because we got tons of root crop. Tons and tons and tons. We don't need all the root crop we have. All those carrots that we haven't even started harvesting yet. So we're going to have to find something in the next episode in regard to that, I'm sure. It'll probably be something we've already utilized. I don't think there's anything else out in Mod Hub that we haven't utilized as far as root crops go. So we've done the preserved, we've done the soup, we've done the canned. I think that was it. I mean, I'll research some more, like I always do, but I don't think there's anything else out there, gang. And the soybeans. This won't fill this up, but that's okay. It needs less soybeans than anything else, so we're perfectly fine with this. Boxes are full, so we have to unload him again. I'm telling you, gang, we're doing some good stuff here, making good progress. Now, once this starts getting full, we can technically even take the stuff out of here and sell it, because pig food makes a lot of money. A lot of money. Let me find it on here. I'm almost positive it makes tons and tons and tons of money. Where is the pig food at? Did I miss it? I must have missed it. It's not going to be down here. There's no way. Perhaps there's no selling point for pig food. Maybe that's part of the problem. I would have thought you'd be able to sell at the market stall, though, that we put in. I must have missed it, because it must not be on here. I mean, I certainly don't see it anywhere, unless I'm just blind. I guess I could be. I'll have to look around. But in any case, Lane, we're going to leave the episode there. We'll continue the worker, getting the rest of that field done. Hopefully the field will be prepped and ready to go for the next episode for us to drill something in there. We're going to expand it like I talked about. You know, we're going to kind of expand it out this way a little bit. Not too far, but kind of line up with that field down there and then shorten it over here. So we're going to do that. I'm just going to leave that there for right now. I know it's kind of in the way. But, yeah, we'll get the rest of this field under control. And then once that's done, we'll start on the carrots. And we got a lot to accomplish here between now and the next episode. But I think the worker can get a lot of it done while I continue to do off-camera more tree work. Taking out the trees and trying to give us more money to afford other things, right? So we'll continue on here, gang. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe button if you're new. It's free. Helps me a ton. If you have any thoughts, questions, comments, or ideas, feel free to let me know down below in the comments. I'm happy to get back to you on those. Even if I don't get back to you immediately, I do try my best to get to every comment at some point. Sometimes YouTube doesn't even tell me you left a comment, so for whatever reason, if I haven't replied back, just tag me again. I promise you I will read it. Just give me some time, because, like I said, unfortunately, I don't have all the time in the world to read, just to be checking anytime a comment puts up, but I try to look as much as I can. At least once a day I try to look, at night after work. But yeah, we'll leave it there, gang. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you all next time.